welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban knife style and jungle survival. I'm in the jungle once again. The skies are rumbling. It looks like it's about to rain, so let's see if we can get this video before the rain comes down. Today we're going to have a look at the Leatherman Signal and my ultimate Swiss Army survival knife, something that I've put together to create a all-in-one kit with a 111 Swiss Army knife. You can check out the video in the link in the card above or the description below to see the details of me putting it together. I've also separately done a video on this Leatherman Signal, and I make the point that it is a great knife for an emergency kit or just all-round emergency, but not so much as a bushcraft tool. And you can check out that video in the link in the card above or the description below. But today I thought I'll put them kind of head to head in some kind of a direct test, because someone did comment in one of my videos that this Swiss Army survival knife is essentially like the Signal. It's just I guess put together in that sense. Now, in terms of a cost perspective, of course this is much cheaper than the Signal, but you have to put all the different elements together, and this is kind of self-contained. So really arguments for both, but what I'm interested in today is just to have a look at the functionality and see how they match up to each other. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. So let's do some bushcraft or woodworking tasks, and we'll put these to the test, and I'll come back after that to give you my final thoughts. So here are my thoughts after the simple field test. Let's talk about the blade first. I expected the Victorinox to outperform the Leatherman, but actually I was very surprised by this particular blade. it actually cut or sliced easier, both for the feather sticking and when I created the shavings from the fat wood, which I did not film. I expected the Victorinox to really slice it a bit more, maybe because I thought the blade was a bit thinner, the grind looked finer, but this actually performed very well. Now, my only other I guess comparison with a Leatherman of a different style is the rebar, and the rebar is much thinner in terms of the blade stock, so it's very slicey, but this was slicey yet firm because it is a thicker and it is a larger blade. So I would give the edge just a bit to the Leatherman, and of course the Victorinox still could of course slice, and in terms of general cutting tasks, whether it's through paracord, through rope, you have absolutely no problem with that. In terms of the saw, I would say the edge goes to the Victorinox. Now, Victorinox is renowned for having great saws that come in this particular form, and indeed it bites better. You need less effort to saw through a piece of wood. Now, the Leatherman itself, I wouldn't say was bad. It was just not as easy as the Victorinox, but still very capable, and I must say it felt more stable. That's because it's probably a wider blade and a slightly shorter blade. But in terms of just getting through the wood faster with less effort, point goes to the Victorinox. When it comes to the ferro rods, in this case the third-party Firefly ferro rod from Tortoise, which fits into the toothpick scale hole, and the inbuilt ferro rod with the whistle with the Leatherman, they both perform well with my Tinder bundle, which consisted of cotton wool soaked with Vaseline and fat wood shavings. They took a bit of effort, maybe more than I would say 8 to 9 strikes in order to get that spark to catch that cotton wool, but it could be just my cotton wool isn't soaked enough with Vaseline, so I might have to look at that. So I would say both are just as capable. In terms of which is easier to handle, I think you could be a bit more rough with the Leatherman because it's more protected within this plastic housing. This particular ferro rod is quite fragile, and if you're not used to it, it's very easy to break. So I would say maybe the edge goes to the Leatherman just because it is a bit more sturdy and it's unlikely to break. So here are my final thoughts on these two multi-tools. I actually think they're quite even, and I'm quite surprised. I expected the Victorinox to blow the Leatherman out of the water, but that's not the case. In terms of function, I think they performed equally as well, or almost equally as well, because some things were better than the others, but overall they kind of match up. Now, if I were to give the edge to the Victorinox, it's simply because it's cheaper, definitely more ergonomic, and it is lighter. So if those are important to you, then the Victorinox would definitely win out. But this is definitely no slouch. There's so many capabilities, a few more than the Victorinox, because there's the pliers, there's that file, and there is that hammer or the pommel over here. So, you know, I think in terms of the function they need, if you want these tools at your disposal as emergency tool, then the extra weight and the ergonomics may actually not be as important to those particular functions. So that's pretty interesting. I'm still, you know, now thinking which to bring out, because originally my go-to would be to bring the Victorinox, but I definitely can see this pretty useful as well, beyond just being put into an emergency kit. But let me know your thoughts. Do you have a similar setup to the Victorinox 111mm, and you have the Signal, and how do you think it compares? Or just by watching the video, what are your thoughts? Let me know your comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.